Well, hello, and this is Rusty Glovebox here, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you the rough measurements of my power hammer. If you want to build one for yourself or change some of the dimensions, it's all up to you. You just kind of customize it for your own needs. But anyway, let's get started. Well, what I'm going to do is I'll give you the rough measurements, and I'll also link some of the other videos when I build it. We'll start off with like 36 inches tall. And I did that on both of them. These are 4x4 tubing, thick wall. And what I did in between, this is 32 inches, and this distance here, it's going to be determined by how long the arm you have. On this one, from the hammerhead to there is 42 inches. And then from here to say like the center of the striking of the sledgehammer head is 36 inches. So the extra bit that I had hanging off the edge is 8 inches to here. And so what I've got from the center line of here, I've got roughly 16 inches on my little leaf spring, and this was 36 inches, so it's roughly 2 to 1, because if you figure I've got 18 from the center here to the end here, and then 36 from here to here. This is twice as long as that to this pivot point here. I used metal that I had. This came off of a round bale fork, and it just happened to be some of the metal left over from one of those. This is a piece of 2-inch by 4-inch. What that is, that's a piece of forklift blade. It's just something that I had, and so I cut it off. I knew it was going to be a good hard piece of metal, so I put it in there. And I think you can see why I have this cross piece on here. I have it for the hammerhead to pivot on, and this is 2-inch tubing or 1 3/4 tubing, and I just have it so it'll have a riser, so when this pivots it'll be able to miss this cross piece. If you wanted to, you could probably kind of saddle it, but this seemed to be about the easiest, quickest way I could do that. This is a 1-inch steel bar. Just happens to be 12 inches. This is another piece of 4x4 tubing, and it just happens to be 9 inches long. It could have been 8. It's just whatever you need to fit your motor in there. So, I mean, it could have been 12 inches long. It really wouldn't have made any difference. This is my treadle. And what that does, that puts tension on the belt. And these are screen door springs. You can get those at almost any hardware store. What this is my on and off switch, and I just put it at the height that I was comfortable with. This is one of those reverse plugs, so I can just plug an extension cord right in here. I don't have to have a cord hanging off, and it's pretty handy for me. I had one of these already, and it worked out good. So I mean, if you can find one, I'd recommend putting one on it. I put a lot more thought in this than I really needed to. From here to here, that's 2 inches. From here to here is 3. Here to here is 4. And here to here is 5. So if you double that, all right, being that that's 2, you're going to get 4 inches of travel just here. All right, this right here, because it is half the length of your other beam, you're going to at least double that. So with this, you can see that I'm getting right at 8 inches. And for most cases, for me, that puts enough force whenever you've got, you know, something out of the fire, it's red hot, and you're going to pound it out a little bit. And so the 8-inch stroke does good for me. Do you need more than that? I don't know. You know, for me, the 8-inch does fine. This is just a top link off of a tractor, and that was the cheapest thing that I could find. I started to make one of my own, but by the time I bought the end here, and figured out what I was going to put in the middle, I could buy this whole thing cheaper than buying those ends and whatever else I was going to get. So that top link worked pretty good for me. This bottom is a pin that has the bolt on the end of it, and it'll accept that top link. On your top link, you have to kind of figure out something to transition to your leaf spring. And I just made kind of a shackle bracket and then put the cross piece in there and welded it to the top of that Hines joint on that top link. I haven't had any problem with that. And these are the original bolts. I know that one is on top because I've got the grease cert in it. This one is not. But anyway, I got a bolt in there just in case this should break loose. I made a tie bolt. I only have 2 leaf springs because you want some flexibility so you can put a little power down on your hammer. And when this makes a revolution, it'll kind of flex this spring. So you want a little give, that's why you've got the leaf spring. On the tie bolt, I rounded the head and drilled a hole so that the head of that bolt would slide in the hole just like it would in a car, on a car axle. And these were some U-bolts that I had. I think they came off a Mazda pickup or something like that. They were metric. And what I had to do is I just cut them in half, bent them at a 90, and then just kind of lapped them together. And that way I was able to get the correct spacing and all of that. Well, what we got right here, this is a 5/8 inch wide belt, and this is a 16-inch pulley here. This pulley that I have here, it's about a 2.5 inch pulley, but the type of pulley that it is that I can release a set screw in here, and I can screw it in or screw it out, and it'll make the groove in the pulley different, and that's how I can kind of fine tune the tension on this belt. I've got these two bolts right here, and what that does is that kind of squeezes that belt like that, and what that does is that allows the motor to spin freely without actually touching the belt. And let's say if your measurement was a little bit different, to make up that difference, you could release that set screw, screw your pulley in, and that way you could take up any slack. This is just a belt tensioner. It would have fit a lawnmower, and what I did here, it's really pretty simple how it works, and it just puts tension on there, a good bit of tension, and you can kind of feather it. And I think once I use this more, this belt will get a little slicker right there, and this pulley will too. And you know, I may have to make this a little tighter because the belt will slip some. Well, what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and start it, and I'll show you how that operates. I was going to give you this measurement. That piece of tubing, 24 inches, that this sets on. If you wanted to, you probably could have made it 32, and it would have had this eccentric maybe more straight under the spring, but as you can see, it really didn't make much difference. I was just, like I say, kind of working with the tubing that I had. This is 5-inch channel iron. You may or may not, on your tubing, kind of have to bevel the edge a little bit so it fits down in here good. And these cross pieces, were 29. And the way I determined that length was I had these 4x4 timbers, and I got them, put them all under there, and basically just cut the cross piece to match those. Put one bolt in each one. One reason why I made it like this is because I didn't want to leave this outside. I didn't want a lot of stuff just all cluttering up outside, and so I had this to where I could make it easy to move around. And I had made other things with kind of offset wheels like that, and when you do that and you raise it up from the rear, you don't have to raise it very much. And it's real easy to move. Alright, when you have the hammer set on where you're going to put it, you're going to store it with the leg in the up position. That way your front wheels aren't putting pressure on the ground, and the back wheels not putting pressure on the ground, you know, kind of putting unnecessary stress on the framework. But when When you're getting ready to move it, you just raise it a little bit. But it's real easy to move like that. Takes very little effort. Well, anyway, guys, I wish you good luck on building your power hammer, and you can build it any way you need to fit your specific needs. You know, you want to change something, more power to you. Whatever works the best for you. So anyway, I appreciate y'all coming by the shop today. This is Rusty Glove Box, and I'm out of here.